So, how can you guarantee that you achieve everything that you want in life? This is a question I've asked myself many times, and it's a question that you probably want to answer to too. So I'm making this video to get this out of my brain to also help me and to also, help whoever who's watching this, because I figured this out, right? So what made me qualified to speak about this is I've been on a self-development journey for a very, very long time. Since I was about like 15 years old. I'm running a business now, multi-six-figure business at 23. I've traveled the world. I'm saying this not to necessarily brag, but I've got a lot of what I wanted out of life, and I'm going to show you how you can do the same, and I want to get this out of my brain so that I'm consistent with this as well. Because I promise you, if you actually master what I'm about to say, you will unlock some secrets to your universe. All right, okay, let's get into it, right? So, I've separated this out into the principles, the physical, and the metaphysical. So, when I say metaphysical, it's not anything like complicated. It's just stuff that you don't see visually, You only see like less than 1% of the total electronic light spectrum. So there's a lot of things that we don't see, right? You don't, like, for example, emotions. You don't really see emotions. You feel them, right? So the principles are energy, frequency, and vibration. So there was Nicholas Tesla said, if you can unlock the secrets to the universe if you understand energy, frequency, and vibration. And I've transferred these into the physical, and I've transferred these into the metaphysical, right? So energy transfers into like your intensity, how intense that you do something. Frequency is repetition, and then your vibration is how consistent are you in doing this, right? Okay? So take whatever you want to, whatever goal that you want to achieve, right? You can work, let's say if you want to build like your ideal body in a gym, for example, you can go for more intense workouts. The frequency, how many times that you go in a week, and the consistency, like how long have you been doing this? How long do you do for years? Anyone who goes and has very intense workouts in the gym, they're going to the gym very frequently, 3 to 4 times a week minimum, and they're consistent with this for a year, 2 years, 3 years, comes out looking jacked. Like there's no way where you have intense workouts, you're going multiple times a week, and you're consistent with for years, and you don't achieve the goal, right? So that's one example, but you can take it out and extrapolate it to whatever you want to, apply this to as well. And then metaphysical goes into your emotions, right? So everything happens before it happens, right? We are in a constant state of turning our thoughts into reality. It's just how everything just becomes, everything gets created, right? So a lot of people, when they're setting goals, they're setting what they're going to do. You need to set who you're going to be. Successful people aren't successful just because of what they do, it's who they are. Right? So you don't need to learn all of these new, you need to become someone new if you want to really achieve your goals. So this is the thing. You have just like you have your intensity, repetition, consistency, you can do this for your emotional state as well, right? You can, let's say whatever goal, like your brain doesn't actually know the difference between an imagined thing and something that actually happens. And when I was learning about this, I used an example of like a lemon. If you imagine pouring a lemon into the back of your mouth, you can even do it now. Imagine pouring a lemon in the back of your mouth and it starts to water. Your body's already giving a response based on what you imagine. So imagine that you already achieved a goal. How would that feel? You don't actually have to wait for that to happen. You can be in that state, emotional state now, right? And how intense it is, the better. The more intense that emotion is, the better. Your emotional state, how often you feel like that. And then if you're frequently in that emotional state, it becomes consistent because now that's your default setting. So it goes into the principal, physical, and the metaphysical, right? So when people are buying, for example, like you want to buy like a home security system, right? Like, yeah, they're buying a home security system, but they're really buying the feeling of feeling secure. If they really felt secure and completely safe, they wouldn't necessarily need to buy that, right? But you don't have to wait for anything external to happen to experience the emotions of it happening. You can do that right now. You can feel like you've already achieved a goal right now, right? So if you are physically doing the right things in terms of like whatever you're doing the work and it's intense, you're focused. So I use a gym for example, but when you're working, you're not distracted. You're not going on TikTok every 5 minutes, right? You're actually focused for the few hours that you're working on a particular goal for, right? You do that repeatedly, and you do that in a very consistently as well over years. You eventually achieve your goal. Also, if you've already imagined or experienced the feeling like you've already achieved it now, you're in that state frequently to where it becomes your default setting, it comes to you even faster, right? Whatever thing I've achieved in life, I've already thought about achieving it thousands of times before it actually comes out in reality. When it actually comes in reality, it's almost like my second time experiencing it because it's already happened before, right? So if you want to collapse the time that it takes you to achieve something, you need to think about who that person is, what are their characteristics, who are they? And you can become that person now, today, and then you can collapse the time it takes you to actually achieve a goal because you're bringing all of that thing towards you based on your emotional state. There's this amazing book by Neville Goddard. It's called The Feeling is the Secret, right? I recommend everyone read it, right? So physical, metaphysical, right? And I got this from one of my teachers, Mr. Billy Carson. It says, he gave a really great equation for manifesting everything that you want in life. And it's not some manifestation, not some woo-wah thing. It's literally just taking your ideas and bringing it into reality. That's simply what it is, right? So it's conscious thought multiplied by action equals manifestation, right? If you have conscious thought, so let's say you're trying to achieve this certain goal, but maybe it's not, you don't know how to. Maybe you get a mentor. You think about getting a mentor, and then you actually hire the mentor, that's the action. Maybe it's a team member that you need on a team. You've analyzed yourself, you see, okay, what things you're good at, what things you're lacking, and maybe you can't do this all yourself. Maybe you need another team member or someone who's going to help you along the journey. Thinking about, okay, who is going to be that person, then hiring them and taking the action is going to lead you to getting a goal a lot faster. And as you're taking action, what happens is you create a feedback loop, right? A feedback loop. To where you're trying things and you're just constantly just acquiring data, right? It doesn't matter if you don't need to be a perfectionist with things, but everything I've realized in life that it's like you learn on your way of doing it. You learn on the way, like as you go along. I don't necessarily set like a 5-year goal or 10-year goal for myself because by that time I'm gonna be a different person, right? So you learn as you go through the journey and you learn as you take the actions, right? So this is how even rockets and stuff go into space. And most of the time they're actually off course, but they're always course correcting, right? So as you're taking action, you're analyzing the actions and the data from it. Is this a good action? Okay, repeat it. Bad? Okay, you stop doing it. As you're taking action, you create a feedback loop based off that data that you're acquiring from taking an action. If something's working and something's not, you're now creating a feedback loop to yourself, and then you can think about, okay, what ideas I do this a lot with advertising. You don't, a lot of the times, most ads actually fail. But if you are going and you're trying different things and you're thinking about, okay, what, if you're doing this systematically and seeing what things you tried and think about why they failed, then it comes up with new ideas that you can incorporate and try again and see if that works, right? But you're only going to know that if you have the data, you know? You need to have the data from, and you need to have the data, get the feedback. That's literally what data is. You're getting the feedback from your action, and then it's going to help you come up with new ideas on what to do next, right? So that's why it's just important just to just start doing stuff. So it's this principle: conscious thought multiplied, it's not plus, it's multiplied by action. Multiplied by action equals manifestation. And as you're constantly taking action, you're getting feedback, and when you're getting that feedback, it's almost like you're course correcting. You're course correcting yourself all onto the way that you actually finally achieve the goal that you want to achieve, right? And that's it, guys. Literally, it comes down to these things. When you failed, and if you look back and look back at anything that you failed at, right? How intense did you do it? How often did you do it? And were you even consistent? Some of you would try things, and I'm even speaking to myself. I'll try things for a few times, a few months, and then don't get results, and you quit. You're inconsistent. You're trying to do stuff, but you only do it once a week, once a month, and you're complaining why you don't have the results. You haven't done enough frequency. You haven't done enough reps. And then if you're taking the action, make sure you're taking the right actions. But if you're doing it intensely as well, like if you're working but you're getting distracted by TikTok every 5 minutes, or you're going on your phone or going on social media, is breaking your pattern, is breaking your focus, is breaking whatever flow that you are in, then there's no surprise why you don't achieve what you want in life, right? So physical, intensity, repetition, consistently. And then you're emotional, you can become that person first, right? Your being. We're human beings, so be who you want to be. Literally. Emotional intensity, your emotional state, and if you're constantly keeping in a high emotional state, it then becomes your character. That's just like your default state. That becomes who you are. And then you're taking conscious thought, thinking about what steps are you going to do to achieve this thing, right? Whenever you have a goal, this actually breaks up to a lot of smaller steps that needs to happen before you actually achieve that goal. Think about how you're going to do, conscious thought about how you're going to do that. You take the action, you're constantly getting the feedback, acquiring data, and then testing new things. And then eventually you reach a goal of manifestation. So that's it. So it's not actually complicated, guys. It's actually very simple. So I hope that gave you some great knowledge and that you can apply in your life. And getting this out of my mind as well has really helped me too. So whenever I fail at something, I know I refer back to this. And I usually get the answer. Okay? So yeah. My name is Ayo. Hope I dropped you some gems. Have a great day.